Bear with us, bear with us. I think we are, it says preparing. And I believe we are live. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. It's Coach Clee coming at you. Thank you guys for tuning in. I got a very special guest. We are live streaming via Zoom right now. I will introduce her in a minute, but prepare yourself to be educated and have fun. And we're going to learn a lot today. Can you guys hear me? If you guys can hear me, give me some ones in the comment section. We got a new setup going on. I want to make sure there's no problems. If you guys can hear me, give me a one in the comment section, okay? All right, it's your motivational speaker, your empowerment coach, your author, and your favorite baker's favorite baker, Coach Clee, coming at you. I got a special guest, like I said today. I hope you guys are staying healthy. I hope you guys are staying fit and clean, okay? Make sure you guys are washing your hands. Make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves and each other, okay? If you got to practice social distancing, but if you do have to go out, be mindful of yourself and other people, okay? Like I said, it's your motivational speaker, your empowerment coach, your author, and your favorite baker's favorite baker. I need to know what the energy levels are. I need to know what the energy levels are. So if you had a good day today, I need you to put a one in the comment section. Put a one in the comment section if you had a good day today. And you know, Elizabeth, I don't believe in bad days. I like to call them character building days. So, if you had a quote unquote bad day, I need you to put a 2. Looks like a peace sign. Put a 2 in the comment section if you had a character building day. Character building day is a type of day no one wants, but it's necessary for growth because it makes you appreciate the outstanding days that much better. Plus, you need it for growth because it's one of those days where you learn something, you can build from it, you can grow from it. Mistakes happen, things happen, setbacks happen. It's needed because it projects you that much more. If you had a character building day, put a 2. But if you had what I had, I'm gonna put this at the end of the live. I had an outstanding day. If you had an outstanding day, I need you to put a 0 in that chumpy. Put a 0 in the comment section if you had an outstanding day. It's kind of like this is a bubble, and you're right there in the middle of the bubble, and nothing can penetrate that bubble. Elizabeth, I'm gonna put a 0 at the end of this live. Elizabeth, what are you gonna put at the end of this live?
I'm gonna put a 0. I had an excellent day.
You had an excellent day too? Good. That's what I
I
like
most
to hear.
certainly did.
Good, 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 good. We're both putting zeros at the end of the live. I don't know who's on right now. I'm trying to see if it's on right now. Shayla, what are you putting at the end of this live? You're putting a 0 at the end of the live. Okay, I see Shayla's on right now. Thank you for tuning in. Please tag, like, and share. We will have comments are a little bit delayed. They're not as delayed as they were before, so do put your comments in the comment section. We will acknowledge them as best we can. Do understand that there's about a 5 to 10 second delay from the time that you post it till the time that we see it. So we may either be on to another topic or somewhere else in the discussion, but we will acknowledge your comments. Make sure if you're not local or if this is your first time on the Coach Clee page, tag your name and where you're from in the comment section, and you will get that shout out from Coach Clee also. All right. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Make sure that you're already on the Facebook. We're not live YouTube right now, but you're on the Facebook channel. If you haven't already done so, make sure you like that page and check out the YouTube page. It's under the same name. It's Coach Clee also. Make sure you subscribe to it. And when you can, but not right now, I purposely didn't do it, check the link above, all right? My website will be posted above. Workwithclee.com. And on that website, you will see so many wonderful things. All right. The first thing you will see is myself. You see it right here, bam, and right here, my first published book, March 4th. It's a motivational empowerment book on helping you find your own breakthrough. We talk about toxic people, toxic situations. We talk about taking care of yourself. We talk about drinking water. We talk about having that leap of courage, that faith. We talk about taking that step of faith. That's all in this book. Check this out. It's a perfect read for this time of day since most people are quarantined. Also on the website, we have No Shade, All Light. This book was written by Herb Thompson, Clarence Stokes, Jason Brown, and myself. We all wrote 25 of our favorite quotes and what they mean to us. So it's over 100 quotes in this book with meaning, okay? 4 old head gentlemen and Chosen Friends 43 came together and wrote this book, all right? Also, what's no longer on the website, the Coach Clee apparel, that's no longer on the website. But if you need some, get at me, text me, inbox me, get a hold of me. I will make sure that happens. You can get some. But what's still on the website and very apparel in this time right now is some Stark alkaline water. All right. And I will discuss this momentarily as we move further on in the show. But that will be on the website. OK. And we will be transitioning to Give us 1 second. We're transitioning, and then we will talk about these sponsors real quick. Bam, this is how we're going to do this. We're going to old school it. I'm sorry, but we're going to put like musical chairs. Bam, look at that.
Oh, this is weird. Okay. So I will do a few of the business shout outs. As I said in previous weeks, just be mindful during this time. It's a little bit tough for some of these businesses, so they may not be open or fully servicing right now. But when they are, please make sure you check them out. A lot of them have Facebook pages, websites, and things like that that will give you the most recent up-to-date information about what they have going on currently in these circumstances. So the first one I want to start with is Unrivaled Muay Thai. They offer a variety of styles of martial arts to include Taekwondo, Muay Thai, and then also kickboxing. Keep in mind, kickboxing is only for those that are 13 and up. All other classes are for all ages. They are located at 2200 Woodview Drive in Harrisburg, and that contact information will be at the top of this live once we're finished here. The next one we are switching it up a little bit. We have Hooper Memorial Home Incorporated. They serve families in need with pre-planning, funerals, and cremation services. They're located at 3532 Walnut Street in Harrisburg, and their phone number is 717-651-1000. And again, their contact information will be at the top of this as well. Then we'll move to CNC Hair Studio with Christopher O. They are located at 2033 Linglestown Road. They offer a variety of services for both men and women clients. Services include precision haircuts and styles, color services, silk press. Also, they have hair loss products, and they also offer wigs and extensions. And then moving on to one of my favorite Spice Girl Caterers. They offer a variety of services for events that are big and small. Right now, one of the specials that they are offering is 5- and 7-day meal plans. So right now, a lot of us are stuck at home and probably eating everything inside of the house. So check out Spice Girl Caterers because they're offering portion controlled meals, which I think is really helpful for us during these times. That's very easy to just keep on going to the cabinet and grabbing a snack opposed to something that's maybe portioned out and a little bit healthier for you. So make sure you check them out. They were offering a spring season fruit tray or free fruit tray and cheese tray for catered parties of 60 or more. I'm not sure if they're going to continue that further out into like the summer season, but make sure you check out their website at ljspicegirl.com. Or you can message award-winning chef Jeremy Davenport on Facebook at Spice Girl Caterers, and they're also on Instagram at Spice Girl Flava. Last but certainly not least, we have T-Max Fitness Bootcamp training with Sean Thompson. Right now, he is offering an actual online program where you can actually go and sign up and join his group. It is called T-Max Fitness at Home Bootcamp. Again, that's a little long, T-Max Fitness at Home Bootcamp. Check out what he's offering. He's offering a variety of different workouts throughout the day. And then once he is back in regular business, he does offer bootcamp style workouts. They are Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 5:30 a.m. and Saturdays at 7 a.m. Is that right? And then he also had some evening classes that he was offering at 6 p.m. on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. His location is at 553 Division Street in Harrisburg. And again, just make sure you check out his contact information at the top. We'll have everything that I just went over will be at the top of this live once we're finished here. And that's it. Hope you guys are having a great week.
There you go. Old school in it. There we go. All right. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but you know, you got to adjust when things are different. So this is how we had to do it for today, so there wouldn't be any feedback in the microphone. I see Tori's on. Thank you for tuning in. Please tag, like, and share. I also see Calvin's on. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please tag, like, and share. But right now, I'm going to introduce the guest of the hour. Some of you may know her. Some of you may not. She's a mother. She studied at various institutes of higher learning. She is going to discuss financial wellness. She's actually a consultant. She is the owner of EAG Credit Solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Elizabeth Guthridge. Give her some thumbs up. Give her some hearts. Give her some hearts. We don't have a round of applause. So thank you, Elizabeth, for coming through. Elizabeth, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. I had a beautiful day. The sun is shining, and there's just no complaints.
I like that. That sounds like a pretty positive day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come and talk to you about this very important topic.
Absolutely.
A lot of times people in our community don't want to talk about this type of thing, but I'm here to talk about it. It's not comfortable, but guess what? We have to learn these type of things so we can get together, we can unify, and we could grow together economically.
Absolutely. It sounds like a conversation that may not always be wanted, but it's definitely necessary.
Absolutely.
Elizabeth, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, absolutely. And so you said the first thing near and dear to my heart. I am a mom of 3 independent adult children. Can I repeat that?
Yes, you can.
Independent adult children.
Okay.
And I have a slew of grandchildren, so I'm very proud of that. And as you said, I'm the owner of EAG Credit Solutions. My professional background before this was human resources. I have 26 years of human resources experience. I love my community. I'm on the zoning board in Lancaster City. I am on the NAACP Executive Committee, and I am the chair of the NAACP Economic Committee. So, so I am definitely community oriented, and everything I say or do has something to do with some community economics, or credit, or financial literacy. That is what I love. That's my passion, and that's just where I am at this time in my life.
Wonderful, wonderful. That sounds like a good background. You pretty much qualify. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Thank you for coming through again and educating us on this much needed topic. I'm gonna pause for the calls real quick. I want to switch gears, and we're gonna normally, like you guys know, those of you that follow the show, this is when the guest has a sip of this water, but I didn't get her a bottle of water in time.
Nope.
But I will make sure that you get some. Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely. But we're going to take a pause because there was a mouthful that was said prior to this going through. I'm going to take a sip of this delicious Stark alkaline water. This is alkaline water. Like I said, it helps neutralize the acid in your body. The more acid that your body has, the more it's prone to diseases, okay? Things like the common cold, cancers, and so many things can thrive in an acidic body. If you eliminate the acid out of your body, you're more healthier, you have more energy, your digestive system works better, you lose weight, you're hydrated. So many beautiful things happen when you're hydrated. Plus, it just tastes like a fresher version of water. And like I said, I was going to explain that. I wanted to explain that to you a little fully. I would ask you how you liked it, but I know you haven't had it yet, so I will make sure that I get that to you, okay?
Yes, thank you.
However, we're going to jump back into it. Can you discuss what financial wellness is to us? Can you share what that information is, please?
Okay, so my opinion, because I can call this financial training and call it financial whatever, but I'd like to call it financial wellness.
Okay.
When we think of wellness, we think of mental wellness. We think of physical wellness, but we truly, truly need to think of financial in the terms of wellness.
Okay.
Because if you are not educated about financial literacy, some really, really bad things can happen in your life. So that I like to describe it in that content. So one of the things that my company does is we like to start, our flagship service is credit restoration.
Okay.
And again, it's something that people don't like to talk about, but it's really, really important. And given that my background of human resources, I've seen it personally, how it's impacted employees. And if I can just give you a quick example, I had an employee call to my office, and he was having some issue and he was going to be terminated. And so I said, hey, well, what's going on? Supervisor, what's going on? Well, he comes to work late. He can't concentrate. His clothes disheveled. So I called him, had a one-on-one. And now let me just tell you, he was a professional. He wasn't a person with and suffering from poverty. He was a professional. Come to find out that this gentleman and his son were living in his car.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that struck me. I'm like, oh my. So we went through some counseling, and he had to go through financial counseling. Eventually, he cleaned himself up. And so that empowered me to say, you know what? If I am seeing this, so if this happening to a professional, can you imagine how the minimum wage employees, what's happening to them? So financial literacy is not just for those who are impoverished. It's for all of us, absolutely all of us. Okay. So that's how I really, really describe it. It's really, really important that we understand what credit is. So should I just go a little bit about what it is?
Yeah. What can you discuss exactly what credit is to some of us that may or may not know, and the importance of good credit?
Okay. So let's start with the end in mind.
Okay.
Good credit is, they used to say cash is king. Well, that's no more. You have to have good credit in order to leverage for the things that you want. Even if you could buy a house with all cash, the bankers want to know, well, where'd you get that money from? So you still need to have credit in order to purchase that home, to purchase a car at a good rate. You have to have that. One thing that I often tell people is you really have to guard your credit. You really have to watch out what's going on with your credit as much as you can, simply because nowadays you need good credit to have certain jobs. I know
absolutely.
In my field, I was surprised the first time they said, oh, we're going to run your credit. And I'm like, well, for why? They're looking for embezzlement. Not that we do that type of thing. Embezzlement. They're looking for that you can't handle all your taxes. So they're looking for, they're looking at your credit. So not just to buy a house, not just to buy a car, not just to life insurance. Your life insurance rates are based on your credit rating.
Wow. Okay.
So
I don't think a lot of people knew that.
Right. A lot more people need to investigate life insurance, but we'll talk about that later. That's all part of legacy building and financial literacy as well.
Okay.
Obtaining that, right. Okay, so that is what the end result is. But the first and foremost, you have to know what credit is. Most of us know that there is a score. Okay. And the score is from 300 to 850.
Right.
300 being the absolute bottom and 8 is absolutely excellent. So, but what most of us don't know is that there's different components, calculations. And so, but what I want to say before I go into how the credit score is calculated, I just want to say this, because of what's going on with this coronavirus. I want to say, we hear a lot of talk about people, they're going to get their money and they're not going to pay their bill and they're not going to pay their rent. My opinion is, don't listen to that. Pay your bills.
Yeah.
Pay your bills on time. Do what you can. And the other part of that message is, for those who absolutely do not have income, take a deep breath and understand that credit is a snapshot. It can be repaired. It can be rebuilt. So just take a deep breath and let's get through this coronavirus situation and let's just move on. Okay. Right. So that's what I want to say to people in the interim. Be smart. Okay. $1,200 is not a lot of money when you're being evicted, because guess what? You are going to be evicted if you do not pay your rent.
Correct.
And that is it. And that is all. So party with that money if you want to, and don't pay your rent if you want to. 6 months from now, we're going to be reading the newspaper. A lot of folks is not going to have a place to stay. Yeah, and not just that eviction is going to be on your credit, and no one's going to want to give you an apartment or a home because you have not taken care of your financial responsibilities. You didn't take it seriously. So that is my PSA for today. If nobody learned anything else through this whole situation, please be responsible with your credit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know you discussed on your credit can be repaired. Let's say there's someone on here right now that may have been ignorant on the fact of credit coming up, and they kind of squandered things for a couple years, and now they're learning about their credit. What kind of steps can they take to rebuild their credit to put themselves in a better situation?
Okay. So first and foremost, you have to know about credit, because sometimes you may have to say, you know what, I don't have this money, and you may have to make a strategic decision. You may have to take a hit. So that happens. But let's talk about, before we take some steps, let's talk about what makes up the credit score.
Okay.
So I talked about paying your bills on time.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most important item. That item does not increase your credit score, but it does not lower your credit score.
Okay.
35% of your credit score is calculated based on you paying your bills on time.
Wow.
And yes, 35, that's a big percentage.
That is a big number, yeah.
So if you do nothing else, even if you have bad credit, the first step would be to pay your bills on time. Number one, you pay your bills. 30% of that credit score is calculated by the amount of debt you have. Yes, let's use a credit card for an example.
Okay.
If your credit limit is $1,000, it is in your best interest to do not spend more than 30% of that credit card.
Interesting. Okay.
Absolutely. Because the second you spend 30%, then it shows the creditors that, you know what, we've given them $1,000. They spent 50%. That's a little irresponsible. So they see you as a credit risk. So I know it may be tempting, but if you have $1,000 on that card, you do not spend more than $300 at one time. You keep that utilization rate low on purpose. So we talked about the 35%, paying your bills on time. We talked about keeping your credit cards under 30%. That's 30% of your bills. So, and using credit card as an example again, 15% of your credit is calculated by the length of time you've had that credit. So I tell people, I advise my clients, do not close their credit cards. Because what if you've had that credit card for 5 years? And now all of a sudden you close it. So now you have this very short amount of credit. So it shows the creditors and say, you know what? I'm not sure if I want to give this person a personal loan or a homeowner loan because I'm not sure how they're going to pan out in the long run.
Okay.
So do not close that credit card. Don't use it. Or if you do use it, use a very small amount, pay it off. Show that you are very responsible with your credit.
Okay.
So there's two other things that goes into that credit score calculation. Credit mix. So creditors like to see, especially mortgage people, they like to see that you can handle a mix of credit. There may be a car loan, there may be a student loan, there might be a credit card, it may be a store card. But when you have that mix of credit, it makes them, and you pay your bills on time, and you pay it less, and you don't spend more than 30%, it makes the creditor say, oh, wow, he has a nice mix of credit. I can trust this person with the credit that I'm going to lend in. And I can be assured that I will at least have a good chance of getting my money back. Because anything can happen at any time to anybody.
Right.
So on a final note, the last calculation, it may only be 10%, but it is, it's the 10% is when you allow people to look in your credit. Not if they're called inquiries. Nasty little buggers.
Yes, they are.
Nasty little buggers. And let me just give you an example of someone with not less than perfect credit.
Okay.
They go to the car dealership and they know that they have less than perfect credit. The car dealership runs their credit and they may have 10, 15, 20 people that they used. You ever hear them advertise, we give everybody a loan. Yep. Everybody drives off.
Daytime commercials all day long.
Bad. Predatory. Can you spell predatory? It's not a good thing because know what happens? If they have 15, 20 people, because your credit is so bad that they got to keep running it through all of those different, so they can literally run it 18 times and you will see 18 inquiries on your credit report.
And that's a while to bounce back from.
So check this out. What if you had, which is really bad, less than perfect, it's really bad. I'm just going to say what it is. a 515. That's considered bad.
Okay.
When they run your credit all those many times, now it's going to be 415.
Wow. And that's a huge hit just for some inquiries.
Right. It may be only 10% of the calculation, but start to have people looking in your credit and see what happens. That's not, and you truly won't be able to get a car at a decent rate, and you really will not be able to get a personal loan and a home, a mortgage. So what I tell people, be patient if you can. Work on your credit, go to a credit union and perhaps get a loan there, because they're going to run your credit once.
Okay. All right. Good advice. Good advice. And I don't mean to cut you off there. I see Vinny's on. Thank you for tuning in. Please tag, like, and share. Jason, I will get to your question in a minute. Jason Brown's on. Sylvia's on. I see Rosalind's on. Manny Mills is on. Thank you guys for tuning in. William Britton's having an outstanding day. Thank you for tuning in. But Jason has a question. He said you gave some good advice on some of the examples that you gave. And he also would like to know, what exactly is a good credit score?
A good credit score, let me tell you, for what's going on with this coronavirus, I am hearing from my mortgage people that in order to get a mortgage, it used to be maybe 580, 600, 660, depending on your institution. But they're talking about that they're not even going to look at you unless it's a 700. So I'm just saying, everything is so shaky right now, and there's no trust level in our economic system. But a good credit score is anything over 700.
Okay.
That's a good. So when you're improving your credit, you really want to get over that 700.
Uh-oh. Things just got quiet. Can you hear? Can you hear me? Hold on, Elizabeth. I think we're having some technical difficulty. Huh?
That's my business. But how now I know that in the next 6 months, I'd have better.
Elizabeth, hold on 1 second. I don't know what's going on with the volume, but it just cut out. Can you hear me? If you guys can hear me, type a 1. Put a 1 in the comment section. Can you hear me? You can hear me, Elizabeth? Can you say something?
Okay, you were.
There we go.
Okay, you're good.
Yep, I can hear you now. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No problem. I couldn't hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know where it got cut off at, but if you want to finish your last statement.
Well, I think I was talking about the score. The gentleman asked me what was a good score. And I said that we really want to push toward the 700. And anything over 700 is good. It's not excellent, but it's good. So you really want to be at least at the 700.
Okay. Yep. Exactly. Yep. I think you covered that well. Let me ask you a question. And how important is it to budget? And how would someone learn how to budget if they have no experience in it?
Okay. So budgeting is really, really not that difficult. And so I had a client that he was talking about, I said, well, do you know how much you spend on this and that? And he said, no. And I said, well, here's a suggestion. Just go back to your old bank statements and just put everything in categories. And when he saw that he spent so much money at Subway and this, that, and the other, he was almost ashamed. I said, it's not to be ashamed of, but the point is, you have to write down all of your bills, and it's not easy doing it from your head sometime. So what I like to do is go back. Most of us, we like to swipe. Okay, there's not many of us left that handle that nasty, dirty green stuff.
Right.
But if you are a swiper, you can go back, look at your last 3 statements, and then you can categorize. Something that's not on that category, in any of those categories, add them in. And a budget is not black and white. Budgets are living, breathing documents.
Mhm.
It's never in black and white. So going back to the example of looking back, because again, most of us can't do this stuff from our heads. I can't remember what I buy from one day. Well, now because I haven't gone out. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I guess.
you're right. But from one day to the next, I don't remember what I buy, you know, because remember back in the day, they said, well, if you break a $20 bill, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the same concept. So you put all of those items in categories and you look at them, and then you can try to figure out where you can cut. So two things, a column that has all of your expenses and a column, which is a much less entries of revenue or paycheck or whatever your hustle is, list all of that money. And then you can see whether you're in the black or whether you're in the red. A lot of us are in the red because we just spend more than we have.
Right.
So, and the other thing, when we're talking about budgeting, don't forget to put the savings line item in. People forget, even though some of us don't have enough money at the end of the month, but you still got to try.
You still got to pay yourself. You're absolutely right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I see Gary Grant's on. Thank you for tuning in. I see Darren Cotton's on. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please tag, like, and share. Gary has a question here. What about homeowners and putting mortgage on the back end? Is that a good or bad idea?
What's mortgage on the back end? Ask him to, I don't understand what that means.
Okay, can you elaborate on your question? What about homeowners putting the mortgage on the back end? Good or bad idea, Gary? I'll wait for your response to come back. Jamie Bowser's on. Please tag, like, and share. And while we're waiting on that, you didn't type in. We'll come back to that. But also, I know you didn't have any events. Well, I know you had to kind of cancel some events that you had going on because everything that's going on. But what events did you have in the past?
So I had a couple of really nice events in at Rookies. So I was, that we had a ball. And so what happens is people come out, it was called Wealth and Wings. So people come out, they eat wings, and we talk about wealth, and we talk about credit restoration, and we talk about all the services, which I'll get into that a little bit. All the different services that we do. So also I have a team in Harrisburg. I have a team. A lot of my team members are Harrisburg. The other half are in Philly. And so what we do is when we could, we go to different people's homes and we talk about it. Because again, this is not something that people want to talk about in public. So we tell people, invite the closest people around you. We'll come and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it with you. We'll talk about it with your family. In the past, I've gone to housing development and I've talked about credit so people can move out of the projects. So there were several things that we canceled because of this coronavirus, but the only thing I do is talk about some of the things that we've done in the past. So we have had just some we're finding creative ways to get people comfortable. Like we had like a paint party, and I know it sounds odd, but people came out to paint, but guess what? They were so encouraged and they were so relaxed. We've had credit and cocktails. We've had credit and coffee. So we have been very creative trying to bring people together to talk about this very, very important topic. And the reason why we do it this way is because my famous thing to say is you cannot help anybody until you help yourself. Absolutely. And that's it. And that's it. And that's all. So we are finding creative ways to get people together. And right now I do have Zoom events coming up. The next Zoom event is called Zoom at Noon. And it's, we talk about if you're tired of being on this roller coaster of having less than perfect credit. So that is coming up April the 17th. I think that's a Friday at 12 o'clock. So people could text me. Is it okay to give my number?
Yes, that's absolutely, yes.
Okay, so you can text me at 717-715-3979,
Mm-hmm.
and I can give you information about Zoom call, or you could email me at Liz, at eagcreditsolutions.com. So we have to follow suit. We're being safe. And so the next events will be all in the Zoom format.
Okay. Yep. Absolutely. Social distancing. Yep.
Mhm.
Thank you. And I see April's on. Thank you for tuning in. Gary did comment back on his question. He said, when the banks put your payment on the back end of your loan, kind of like I would say, if you would have you owe a down deposit on something, instead of paying it up front, they put it on the back end of the loan. Do you think that's a good or bad idea? I have a couple other questions in here too.
I have a very strong opinion about that. But I think if Gary calls me or texts me, I can get him in contact with my realtor.
Okay.
The realtor who's professional, that knows his stuff ins and outs, and perhaps he want to talk to a realtor anyway, because that question, in my opinion, will lead to another question. So please tell Gary to text me, and I will put him in contact with my realtor.
Absolutely, I will do that. Thank you. I see Corey's on. Thank you for tuning in. I see Vena's on. Thank you for tuning in. Gretchen's on. Thank you for tuning in. Vena saying good evening, Coach Clee and Liz. Good evening, Vena.
Good evening.
I have another question here. This one's from William Britton. This one is it good to close out old lines of credit and not in use to increase your credit score?
Okay, we talked about that. And if you're talking about old lines of credit, which mean credit cards, do not close them. Do not, because that will impact one of your lines, one of your items that help calculate your credit score. And that one would be the 30%. Actually, it's the length of credit. So it will shorten your length of credit. And then it will definitely shorten the amount of available credit. So a couple categories it will impact negatively. So if it's not causing any harm, do not close it. But what you should do is, for instance, if it's a Visa, buy gas. Buy some gas once a quarter. Because if you don't, then they'll close it, and that'll definitely impact your credit score.
Wow.
Yep. Do not, if you don't have to, don't do it.
Okay. Good advice. I see Arlene's on. Thank you for tuning in. So now every quarter you suggest buy gas or maybe a small lunch or something that you're using the credit, and something that it's not that expensive where you can also pay it back off. So you still have that active line of credit, but it's not detrimental to you.
Right. And the whole idea is to show responsibility. You're going to buy, you can use it once a month. You can simple. I said that because the gentleman it appears that he may be okay closing it. So if you don't want to use it, if you don't have the discipline, then you don't have to use it often, but you should use it to show discipline, to show responsibility. I am in control of my credit. Gotcha. So, okay, that's the purpose.
And for those of you who are just now tuning in, I will make sure she already put her phone number and her website on there. Make sure that information gets tagged above. So if you have any questions, feel free to tag this live session. We will get back to you. But if you want to contact her directly, her contact information will be placed above in the header. But let me ask you this, Elizabeth. I know you spoke of the business gentleman who was living in the car with his son. You gave that as an example. But what gave you the inspiration to do this now? What gave you the inspiration to want to, I won't say be a pioneer, but want to be a leader in this industry to not only help yourself, but to help others?
Okay. So I've always been interested in credit. I've always understood the importance of, because I wasn't taught that. I wasn't taught it in school. I did exactly what they told me to do. I got the student loan debts. I bought the house. I did exactly what they told me to do. Didn't work. It's not going to leave. It's not going to leave a legacy for me. So what happened was, about 3 years ago, a friend of mine said, "Oh, let's go to this financial workshop, School of Wharton in Philadelphia."
Okay.
Excellent. Ivy League school. Excellent. So it was a 6 weeks financial literacy program.
Okay.
And so it was amazing. It must have been at least 300 people in this classroom, this theater style classroom, and one little white guy was a teacher, and he said he opened up the conversation, the financial literacy conversation, by asking us, why don't Black people invest? And so, mind you, there's 300 of Black people in this room, and he's the only white guy. And we all looked around, and his answer was because we were misinformed. And so, wow, he got my attention. So that gave me the passion, say, you know what? I should be doing some things differently. So I started really watching my credit. I started studying. I started everything that I learned, I started putting in place. And then I ran across this company. So now I don't have to analyze credit reports myself. I have my company analyze credit. So that kind of fast forwarded me and gave me the tools that I need to help other people. So that pushed me into the direction of financial literacy. I joined the zoning board. So now I see what's going on with gentrification. That made me angry. That also inspired me. So, and everything I do has some sort of economic component to it. Can you hear me? You look like
yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so everything I do has an economic component. And then, and I know you're going to get to this. So then I read this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Robert Kiyosaki.
My man. I love him. And I have his newsletter, and I follow him because he makes such sense. And if parents can give that book to young folk, why? Because he talks in layman terms. And when he talked about his poor dad, that's exactly what my poor dad did. I say my poor mom. It doesn't matter. I went to school.
I know exactly what you mean.
Loans. I did all that crap. That didn't get me nowhere. It's not going to leave a legacy for my grandchildren's grandchildren.
Exactly.
But the concepts that he talks about in his rich dad, like for instance, I immediately understood when he said his rich dad, his poor dad would just buy whatever he wanted. And then he had to figure out what bills paid with it later. The rich dad would say, wait a minute, I got to find a way that I can afford this. I got to go out and make some money so I can buy this. So, and I realized that that stuck in my head. So a friend of mine said, well, hey, let's make some sandwiches. I said, no, we don't have no bread. He said, well, let's go shopping. I said, it's not time to go shopping yet. So I kind of instituted that throughout my whole life. And if I had to say what book that we should give our youth, I think that should be the first one. It's easy reading.
It is very easy reading. It's a great book, and it gives you a different dynamic on a different perspective on viewing money and financial literacy, as you would say.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And he also has a game, which I never got, and I really should, because it's very similar to Monopoly. So my grandson loves playing Monopoly.
Okay.
The point is, it gets them to think about finances in a way that you and I weren't taught.
Exactly. So, okay. There we go. Your favorite book and why? I know we skipped a couple, but that was a good point. I'm glad you covered that. Absolutely. But let me ask you this. What is your end game goal, at least with financial literacy or financial wellness? What would you like? Where do you see yourself in about 5 years? And where do you see you directing other people in about 5 years?
Okay, this is what I like to see, because one thing that impressed me is the fact about the Black Wall Street story. That was very impressive. And I know in Harrisburg, there's a gentleman, and I think it's called The Hub. That gentleman's story is phenomenal. And
we all, because he purchased a block, we all could do that. And when I say go back to what I believe in, that we can't help anyone till we help ourselves. So
That's
why
absolutely
can't
true.
10 of us, 20 of us with 700 and 750 credit score get together, all with 100 and 150 in hand, to qualify to buy a building, to buy a block? So my goal would be to help people fix their credit, learn about financial literacy, so we can start buying the block. We need to stop allowing people to buy our hoods. We have all this stuff to say about our hoods, but we don't own any of it.
Yeah, right.
That has to change. That has to change. And home ownership has not changed. The percentage of Blacks owning homes, that hadn't changed in 50 years.
Wow, that's a long time to go to be stagnant.
Right, exactly. So Black home ownership matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. I see Sabrina's on. Thank you for tuning in, Sabrina. Please tag, like, and share. And I know we talked about of various different things, how you got started, the seminar you went to, how it grabbed your attention, and your favorite book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and so many different things. But is there any other, through the course of conversation, is there anything that we may have missed that you would like to cover or share with us?
Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about my company.
Okay, please do.
Okay, so, and I won't go into a lot of details because I'll give my number again if you like. So then we can talk about it a little bit offline. But for the most part, I believe that credit restoration is just the beginning, because we know, we've heard it over and over and over, people have won the lottery, $350 million. And next year, 18 months, they borrowed $40 from you. Is that not true?
Yeah, we hear that story a lot.
A lot. So that is proof in itself that credit restoration is not just that. We need financial literacy. We need to be taught what to do with that money. We need to be taught how to protect ourselves. We need to have a will and a trust.
Okay.
Because the GoFundMe is not financial literacy.
You're absolutely right.
So my company, we just don't teach you about credit restoration. We teach you about budgeting. We teach you about protecting your identity. We teach you about savings, and we advocate. We just can't say enough about the will and trust, because other nationalities allow or give their children and grandchildren a good chance in life by writing that check for that first car, writing that check when they graduate, because when they're born, they have these life insurance policies, they have these wills, they have trust. These are things that we don't talk about in our community, but that's why we're stagnant, because we won't take time out of our busy lives. We're living the life of Raleigh. We're doing all sorts of, it's selfish. It's being selfish.
Uh-oh. Give me 1 second. I don't know what happened. It looks like the sound just cut out again. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
There we go. You're back on. I'm sorry. Okay, looked like it cut out for about 10 seconds.
Okay. Well, the last thing I said is that if we don't do anything for the next
Okay, all right. I see. Got Gary saying, speak the truth. Yes. And Barack Elaine's on, any advice to pay off a 30-year mortgage in half the time?
Well, I have a strong opinion about that. But as it comes for real estate, again, tell the young man that he can contact me, he can text me, and I will get him in touch with our realtor.
Perfect.
And so I can tell him a little bit about, what I know that will work, but a realtor will definitely can give you some other tips. But one thing that I have done, because if you work on that principle, unless you have a 15-year mortgage, you're going to pay 30. You don't pay to 30 years. So my advice would be, after your payment, your monthly payment, your required payment is done, do another payment. So make sure you pay the payment that is required, but do another payment, because then you are paying toward the principal and not that interest, because it takes a long time for that interest to go down, because the first beginning of your payments is mostly interest. And as the years go, then you're only putting a few dollars on the principal. And as you get close to 30 years, now you're starting to pay off, but you pay off your principal. But the name of the game is pay your regular payment and make an extra payment. That is, because you know what? If you look at your mortgage statement, it does give you that option. Always pay. If you have any late fees, pay all of those things as well. But definitely you are allowed to pay toward your principal. That's really not that difficult to do if you have the money.
Correct. There we go. That's good advice. And I will make sure, Baraka, make sure that you contact her. If you have any other questions, she can elaborate, or she can get you in contact with someone who can elaborate a little bit more fully, a little deeper. And you touched on many wonderful things. Is there anything else that you would like to touch on? Anything? The floor is yours right now.
Actually, well, again, I can go back to my business. So the things that I talked about that I think that we need to do as a people, so we could progress as a people. So my business, we do that by first restoring your credit. And we do that by disputing the things that may be inaccurate on your credit report. And based on the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you have a right. Now, listen, you can do it yourself. I'm not saying that you can't. If you want somebody to accelerate the program, to help you to get through it, we are here to help you. We help you take off student loans, foreclosures, bankruptcies, medical bills, public records, all of those things. If they are inaccurate, or there's some sort of, I don't want to say loophole, because the law is very, very clear how we get those things off of your credit. So, and then, so that's the first step to get your credit cleaned up. And the second step is to build your credit. We have a program called Credit My Rent. And I love that program, because rent is 40, and some of us, 50% of our income. It's not reported to the credit agencies. And that's a shame. It really is. So we have a program called Credit My Rent, and that program will allow you to build a positive trade line.
Wow, look at that.
Yes, yeah. That's a really, really, really good program, and I'm very proud of it, because a lot of people, that is sometimes people with no credit. And it's not just not having, because having no credit is just as bad as having bad credit. You still can't get what you need, and people don't know if they can trust you.
Right.
Not always is that we'll have to work to get all these negative things off your credit report. We may have to show you different techniques and different ways to build your credit.
Okay. Interesting. I like that. I never heard that before. So that's good. I like that. And there's a couple people I think that find that interesting too. Isha, yes, I will definitely post her information in the comments section, and I will post it in the header above at the end of this live. So please make sure whatever questions you have, you reach out to her, ask her. Either she will answer them, or she will get you in contact with someone that can definitely help you guys out. Yeah. Correct? Yeah, absolutely. Anything else? I know you're giving a plethora full of information. If you got more that you want to share, I'm pretty sure we all want to eat it and digest it.
Well, I think that I am good at this moment. Well, there is one thing. Well, what we do is out there saving lives. It's to me, it's a ministry. It really is a ministry. And then so those of us who are home, we're home. We should be taking this time to figure out what our bills look like. A lot of us are, we should be figure out what our bills look like, what's our future going to look like. Should I be working from home? All of those type things. Because when things get back to normal, they're going to get back to normal quickly, and you're going to be in the same spot. You might not be in a good situation because, one, you've lost your income.
Correct.
And so you can also get in touch with me if you are looking for another stream of income, because I do look for agents that I could partner with in the different communities to spread this word. And again, it's a ministry. That's that's exactly what it is. It's a ministry, and I'm very proud of it because I feel like people are awakening. And then, and the most beautiful part of it is that they're teaching their children, and they're understanding the importance of leaving a legacy. And the most selfish thing in the whole world is for somebody to leave this world, and your children are already grieving, and now they have to find a way to pay your last expenses.
Yep, absolutely.
So
you're absolutely right. Thank you for sharing. And what I'm asking you to do me a favor, quick, for those of us that are still logged on right now. If you have we're in the lab, go ahead, get your pen and your pad, jot down this information. Like I said, I will put this information out, but if you can put your contact information out there one more time for those of us that are on, and that gives them an ample opportunity to write this down if they want to take advantage of that time right now. If not, it will be tagged later. But can you provide that information again?
Sure. You can text me. My telephone number is 717-715-3979. Or you can email me. Let me know if you want to attend the Zoom at noon. That is, you can email me. My email is Liz, Liz, at eagcreditsolutions.com.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You had wonderful information, wonderful live. You did a tremendous job. I appreciate you for coming on and sharing this knowledge with us. I hope you had a good time. I hope we helped a lot of people. I hope we were able to educate and touch some. And if maybe we weren't able to, I don't think, change the world, but I know just a little tip of sprinkle is enough to go ahead and kind of season that thought or plant that seed that it initiates growth for change.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me know how I can help you. Okay, I put on. And I say that to say this. If you have a business, if you have a product, if you have a positive message that you're looking for a platform to get that information out on, please inbox me, text me, get a hold of me. I will schedule you a time to either get you in the lab, tell everyone to get their pen and their pad when I can have people back here in the studio. If not, we can do it via Zoom or multiple different other streaming devices. We will get that information out there. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, if you have a business, if you have a product, if you have a positive message, let me know how I can help you get that information out. All right. I do have a special guest coming later on next week. Elizabeth, you know who that special guest is?
Who? Tracy?
Oh, look at you cheating.
No, is it?
Yeah, see, there you go. I think that's the first person that got it. Well, you still got to tune in and see.
Well, that is my professional that I was going to refer those real estate questions to.
Okay, perfect. So they can piggyback on one side, two sides of the coin. There we go.
Yes, sir.
But I do have a special gift for you. If you were in the lab, I would present this to you right now, but I can't, so I will make sure I get this to you. I'm not going to tell you what's in here because that would defeat the purpose of it being a special gift.
Okay.
But thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys live your life with the purpose and evolve so hard. Stay healthy, stay safe. Make sure you wash your hands, practice good hygiene. Tag, like, and share this. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Subscribe to the Facebook page. Check out this information. I will make sure I post it in the header and the comment section. But it's your motivational speaker, your empowerment coach, your author, and your favorite baker's favorite baker. And we got to do one more thing. You know how we got to end this live, Elizabeth? What do we have to do? Are we in it? Yeah, we're doing the money dance. Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in. We love you. Peace. Have a good night. Stay safe.